So if you're interested in sewing, chances are you are very interested in fabric and textiles. Picking fabrics for projects is truly one of the most pleasurable parts of a sewing project. And it's this choice that really lets you customize and personalize something uniquely for you. Now, in this lesson, I'm going to cover the basics of fabric with you. Now, this could be its entire own workshop, so I'm going to try to be brief and succinct. I highly suggest just getting out there into a local fabric store and fondling as much fabric as possible to understand the characteristics better. I also highly recommend picking up the book Fabric Savvy by Sandra Betzina. This is an amazing resource, and I'm going to link to it in the notes. So the two main categories with fabrics are wovens and knits. And we're not focusing on we're not focusing on knits in this class. We're focusing on wovens, but I do want to explain the difference between the two, just so if you're fabric shopping and you encounter a knit, you know that they're not appropriate for the projects that we're going to be making in this class. So if you've ever knit before, you already understand what a knit fabric is, right? This is a pretty good example of it. Knit fabrics are actually looped together. So you just take all these little hooks and you loop them together, and it ends up creating this fabric that has basically a mechanical give. Like, it's just naturally stretchy because of the way that the fabric is made. Sometimes it stretches in two directions, sometimes it just stretches in one. Sometimes with knits, they'll actually put elastic, they'll blend elastic with the fibers, and that makes the fabric even stretchier. So that would be a knit. It's actually knit together. Now, a woven fabric, just like the name implies, is woven. So if you've ever, if you're a weaver, if you've ever seen a loom, or you can imagine a loom with me. So just let's imagine I have a loom in front of me. So the loom has, the stable threads are called the warp thread. I always get the warp and the weft confused. So they take these long vertical threads, and that forms the kind of basis of the fabric. And then you have the weft thread that comes in and weaves in and out of the warp thread, and then around the edge, along the selvage, and then back around like this. So it's actually woven together. Depending on the pattern of the weave, you'll get different weaves. So for example, this fabric here, this is kind of a one-to-one weave. So for every warp grain, there's one weft grain. And it basically makes like a crosshatch pattern. Sometimes with a twill, like this fabric, it's harder to see the lengthwise or the crosswise grain because there's this diagonal pattern. Those threads are still there horizontally and vertically, but it's just the way that the fabric's woven, they're harder to see. So it can get a little bit difficult to find a grain line on a twill, but I will explain that when we get to fabric. But just to understand that woven fabric is actually woven, and you can get different patterns based on how those warp and weft grains interact with each other. Now, the most important thing to understand about a woven fabric is that it's stable in both directions. So it's stable on the crosswise direction. There isn't very much stretch, you can see here. And it's even more stable on the length, actually, this is the lengthwise. I can just tell. So it's stable on the crosswise direction, and then it's even more stable on the lengthwise. So it stretches less in this direction than it does in this. However, when it's cut on the bias, which we've already covered, it's when fabric, it's that 45-degree across fabric, that's where it's the most stretchy. So it's really important when you're cutting out your fabric that you respect the grain line. We'll be covering this when we actually cover out our pattern pieces, what that means, what that grain line means, and why it's important. But I think it's important to kind of mention now that those ways that the fabric are actually woven together it's not arbitrary, and you don't want to just take a pattern piece and arbitrarily put it on a piece of fabric and cut it out because it's not going to hang correctly. So now that you understand the difference between wovens and knits, let's talk about some of the types of wovens that you're going to be sewing with. I think the two main most important categories are structured wovens versus drapey wovens. Why is this important? Well, here I have a piece of very beautiful, light, you can see how light and airy this is. This is a silk crepe de chine, and it's a very fine silk crepe de chine. If I went to make a tailored jacket or a structured pencil skirt with this, it's not gonna work. It just does not have enough structure. There's just no way. However, if I was to take denim, which has a lot of structure, it's got a nice crispness to it, this is perfect for making a jacket. It's perfect for making anything tailored that has a little bit of shape. So you're gonna kind of want to, when you're buying a pattern, they're always going to tell you what kind of fabric to use. And so if they're suggesting drapey fabrics, then you know that it's probably a loose fitting or drapey dress, you know, like an easy summer dress or maybe a breezy jumpsuit. If they're recommending drapey fabrics, you're not going to be making anything super structured. So when you're buying fabric, especially if you're buying fabric online, you really want to make sure you understand how drapey that fabric is. And if it's a good online store, they're going to show you the fabric either kind of, you know, draped like this, or they might show it draped on a dress form so that you can see how it flows. So some examples of drapey fabrics. So we've got this printed crepe de chine. This is a sand wash silk. Again, it's very drapey and light. This is a silk charmeuse, so it's shiny on one side and matte on the other. Again, very light and drapey. Here we've got a 4-ply silk. So this is basically just a thicker, denser silk. And it's still drapey, but it's got a little bit more body, I would say, than say this very lightweight crepe de chine. It's kind of difficult to convey this on camera, but I can feel it. There's just a little bit more structure. So maybe I would use this to make something that isn't going to flow maybe as elegantly as this will. And then of course, included in those drapey fabrics we're talking about is something called Rayon Challis, and this is a very popular fabric in the sewing community. We love Rayon Challis. It's very light, it's got a very soft texture, and again, very drapey, not appropriate for anything really structured. Moving on to the more structured woven fabrics that we're talking about, one that you might see and you're maybe imagining in your head is something like a quilting cotton. Okay, so I've got a couple examples of this. And I will say that a lot of first-time sewers walk into fabric stores and they get really excited by the prints in the quilting cotton section because they just have all these wild prints. And if you're a print lover, it's like automatically you go there and you're buying this quilting cotton. This stuff is not designed to be made into garments. Every once in a while, I'll see somebody successfully make something with quilting cotton, like a cute A-line skirt or maybe like a button-up shirt. But in general, I don't think they're appropriate fabrics for garment sewing. There are other cottons that are finer and have a little bit more body and maybe are going to conform to your body a little bit better than one of these quilting cottons. So these are some more examples of cotton. So here we have, this is a very lightweight, I would say this is probably a cotton voile. So it's very finely woven, it's very light. This is actually Liberty print. Actually, no, this is lawn because this is Liberty. It's Liberty lawn. So this is a very finely woven cotton. It's got a little bit of drape to it, but it's nowhere near as drapey as something like this silk charmeuse. So this, while I wouldn't necessarily make a pencil skirt with it, if I was gonna make a shirt dress, this is gonna hold its shape nicely and it's got a nice crispness, so I know around details like a collar or something, it's gonna work really well. Here we've got a couple of icats. So this is a slightly thicker icat. These are woven in India. This one is a little bit more lightweight, but again, they have more structure. Even though this one's a little bit light, it's definitely got a lot more structure than those silks that we were talking about. This is a beautiful cotton eyelet, so it's got an embroidered texture on it. It's got quite a bit of stability. This would make a gorgeous shirt dress, maybe a pencil skirt if I underlined it because it's a little bit sheer. Here we've got a really quite thick, rigid wax print cotton. So this has got a similar texture to this quilting cotton, but you can get these in the most beautiful prints. And if you wanted to make like a cool kind of structured dress, one of these lovely prints would be ideal. If we're going to talk about fabrics that are a little bit heavier weight, we're talking about denim, twills, canvas. So this is a canvas fabric. It's got a gorgeous print on it. It's quite stiff. I wouldn't want to make a shirt out of this. I feel like it would be kind of square and I wouldn't be able to move my arms. But maybe I would make a bag out of this or maybe a lightweight jacket. Here we've got a pretty heavy duty twill. This, something like this, I would maybe make a pair of loose fitting structured pants or a jacket, but I wouldn't want to make a top again with this because it would be very structured and rigid unless you're kind of going for that look intentionally. So there's that. Here we have some lightweight or a variety of shirtings. So this is a very light denim shirting. It's got a nice drape to it. I would love to make a shirt with this or a shirt dress, but maybe not like a floaty sundress. Maybe it wouldn't have enough drape for that. Here we have like a nice thick flannel, would make great pajamas or a shirt, and then some lightweight shirtings. So I'm kind of just quickly walking you through these, but if you ever encounter a fabric term that you're not familiar with, just Google it. You know, probably somebody wrote a blog post about it. You can see a bunch of photos. You could probably see projects that people made with it. The other big category I should talk about with fabrics is natural versus synthetic. So most of the fabrics I just showed you are natural. So that would include cotton, obviously, silk, come from silkworms, wool, come from sheep, linen comes from flaxseed, and we could also put in some hemp fibers in there because we're starting to make fiber from hemp as well. Those are the main ones. Then you have your naturally, synthetics we think of, polyester, nylon. So here is a quite thick outerwear fabric made entirely out of nylon. Here I have some kind of drapey, sheer polyester fabrics. I personally do not like synthetic fibers unless I'm using it for like a waterproof jacket or something like that. I don't necessarily want to make, as beautiful as these prints are, I don't necessarily want to wear a polyester dress. Let's be honest. Fast fashion stores are filled with polyester clothing. You know, on a hot day, if you're wearing a polyester dress, you're sweating more, your sweat smells because you're not breathing. When I go into the mall, if I walk into an H&M, everything is polyester now because it's cheap. But the reality is this is made from petroleum. It's made from a non-sustainable resource. This fabric will take thousands of, if not hundreds of thousands of years to biodegrade. It's just not necessarily the most environmentally friendly option, and I don't think it's the most skin-friendly option. If you want polyester, you can go into a store and buy polyester. We're sewing because we want to handle gorgeous fabrics. So, linen, for example. I'm wearing a linen top right now. Linen is probably my favorite fabric. I know it can get a little bit wrinkly, but what I love about linen is that it really softens and ages beautifully. It's really fun to wear. I kind of like the rumpled look. And if you're shopping from, let's say, an independent fashion designer and want to buy a simple pair of elastic waist pants, they'll charge you upwards of $200 for those pants. You can go buy linen for $15 to $25 a yard and make that same pair of pants for under 50 bucks. So why would you go make a pair of polyester pants when you could make a pair of linen pants, right? So we have some examples of linen. This is a natural fiber. We've got that cotton that we talked about. Do I have any wool on the table? Oh, here's a piece of wool. And then there's another kind of subcategory that's kind of a mix between natural and synthetic. So this is where your man-made fibers like rayon, tencel, also known as lyocell, viscose fall in. So these are fibers that are they're made from natural fibers. So they're either made from wood pulp or sometimes bamboo. There's different cellulose fibers that they use to make this fabric. So the origin of the fabric itself is sustainable because it's grown, but then they're man-made and manufactured into these beautiful fabrics. And I've got a couple on the table right now. I will say that some of the most exciting developments in fabric right now are happening in this sphere. And here is a tencel twill. It's very drapey. It's got a gorgeous kind of matte finish on it. It breathes really well. It's really fun to sew. Here we've got those Rayon Challis I talked about. So these Rayon Challis take dye really well, so they're really smooth. So it's a great fabric to have prints, and it feels so soft against your skin. So while these are manufactured, these are fabrics I love working with, and I would highly suggest taking a look at some of them when you're figuring out what fabric to work with.